Hey y'all, I want to give you guys a bit of history about canola oil. I know some of you have probably heard varying different things about canola oil. Sometimes we hear it's good for us. Maybe you've heard the term heart healthy when in reference to canola oil. Maybe you've heard it's bad for you. Maybe you've heard that it's a high omega-6 fatty acid oil and that makes it bad for you. I'm not going to really touch on that part of the debate. I definitely have a place where I stand on it, and we'll probably talk about it in other videos. One is really, I want to give you the history of canola oil because to me, when I learned the history of canola oil, it really changed the way I thought about canola oil, and it impacted whether or not I was going to choose to use it in my cooking and in my life. So canola oil actually stands for, well, potentially a couple of different things. I was always taught that it stood for Canada or Canadian oil low acid, but others have said that it just sort of comes from can, meaning the first part of Canada, and OLA, ola, or this kind of root meaning possibly oil. So canola is those two parts together. The canola oil is actually from a family of cultivars or plants that are traditionally called rapeseed. Now, some people might argue with the fact that canola is actually a new plant, that in the 60s they did some breeding so that it's less in certain acids and certain things, so it's not really rapeseed anymore. I think that might be splitting hairs. I was always taught that canola oil is in fact rapeseed oil. It's just from specific cultivars of the rapeseed. Still the same thing. So canola oil is in fact rapeseed oil. The history of canola oil is actually really old. I think it goes back some 4,000 years or even more perhaps. It was used as a lamp oil and other things like that. However, it really started to pick up use in the 40s. It was used as a lubricant for machinery. So during World War II, the demand for it went up really high. After the war ended, however, the demand plummeted. It was no longer desired anymore because there was no need for it. The war was over. So the farmers who had been producing this product were at a loss for what to do with it. So they started trying to figure out a way to make it commercially viable as a food product. And the first few attempts at that were pretty awful, apparently. It apparently tasted really awful and just didn't work out. But they eventually found a way to deodorize it and to bleach it. And they made it into a food grade oil, and then took that food grade oil and saturated it farther and made it a food grade fat. And now here we are in a world where canola oil is in everything. For me personally though, the idea that I'm eating an oil that was traditionally used or originally used as a machine lubricant, I don't know, maybe I'm splitting hairs, but that's not exactly appealing to me. It certainly turns me off from using that oil. Okay, y'all, that's it for today. If you have any questions or if there's any other things you want me to talk about, let me know. Hit me up, and I'll see you guys later.